opinion on Lunchly. Yeah, I only found out about it yesterday. Like, you can tell none of them are parents. Because you should not feed your kids that garbage. Like, what the fuck?
How do you go from launching some of the highest grossing creator products on the internet to dropping one of the biggest flops in YouTube history? Not just a slow seller, not just a small letdown, a full-on reputational meltdown that had other YouTubers, parents, and even licensed doctors lining up to call it out within hours of launch. That's exactly what went down with Lunchly. After stacking massive success with chocolate bars and energy drinks, MrBeast, KSI, and Logan Paul decided to team up. The strategy looked clean on paper. Feastables was pulling in serious revenue. Prime was all over store shelves. If candy and energy drinks could take over the market, why not slide into kids' lunchboxes too? So they stepped into the $1.8 billion Lunchables lane and launched Lunchly, branding it as a better-for-you alternative. Sounds unstoppable, right? That's what everyone thought. But instead of soaring, it stumbled almost instantly. Unlike Prime or Feastables, which rode hype waves and loyal fan bases straight to the bank, Lunchly ran into a wall of skepticism. Within hours of hitting shelves, it was trending, not for breaking records, for backlash. And instead of cooling things down, the trio's reactions only made people look closer. To understand why Lunchly exploded online, you have to look at the names behind it. MrBeast, Logan Paul, KSI. Each one commands a massive audience. Each one already proved they could move physical products at scale. Feastables reportedly brought in over $250 million in revenue in 2024 alone.
Kids need energy to function, and calories give them that energy. Lunchly turkey contains only 230 calories, which would mean a kid would need to eat about 2.7 portions to consume enough calories. And if they did that, they'd get nearly 1,300 milligrams of sodium, which is also significantly over the USDA standards. So they'd be either under-eating calories or overeating sodium.
Prime crossed the $1 billion annual revenue mark. These weren't random side projects. These were serious consumer brands with distribution power and marketing muscle. So when they announced a joint food product aimed at kids, attention was automatic. But here's the issue. None of these creators built their reputations on nutrition. MrBeast was known for chocolate bars and a delivery-only fast food brand. Logan and KSI's flagship drink contained caffeine levels comparable to multiple cans of soda. Health-focused branding had never really been their lane. Now suddenly they were stepping into a category connected to parents, schools, and children's dietary standards. That's a different arena entirely. When Lunchly was officially announced on September 16, 2024, the messaging was loud and clear. This was healthier. This was smarter. This was a better alternative to Lunchables. The website showed side-by-side comparison charts highlighting real cheese, lower sugar, and added electrolytes. Influencer commentary repeated the phrase, better for you. But once people zoomed in on the nutrition label, the questions started stacking up. Yes, a few metrics looked improved, but the overall profile, it was still a processed, shelf-stable meal. Critics quickly pointed out that tweaking a few numbers doesn't magically turn something into a balanced lunch solution.
Lunchly versus Lunchables. Turkey stack 'em. 310 calories.
230 calories.
21 grams of sugar.
Only 7 grams of sugar.
If you look at this close up, you can already tell which one has better ingredients.
Better compared to something else doesn't automatically mean genuinely healthy. One of the first major creators to publicly push back was Dan TDM. After seeing the reveal, he tweeted, "What happened to YouTubers? Man, I can't not say anything anymore. This is selling stuff for the sake of making money. Simple. How does this benefit their fans? This is selling crap to kids who don't know better than to. The people who are selling it to them do better." He wasn't speaking as a nutrition expert. He was speaking as a father and as someone with a massive young audience. His concern wasn't about macros or micronutrients. It was about responsibility. And that message hit hard. Thousands agreed. Other creators jumped in. PewDiePie subtly supported the criticism. Smaller channels amplified it. The conversation shifted from simple product comparison to a bigger question. Should creators with predominantly young audiences market processed lunch kits as better for you in the first place? Then the doctor stepped in. Dr. Mike, a licensed physician with a strong YouTube presence, released a breakdown analyzing Lunchly's claims.
After Logan shared this image highlighting the nutritional contents and specifically calling out electrolytes compared to a Lunchable and how much better it was with all these electrolytes, I made this little joke about sodium getting rebranded as electrolytes because that's really what's happened. We've taken things like sodium, potassium that historically have been thought of in a very respectable fashion, something you have to do respectable amounts of and be cautious with, is now just considered electrolytes, and it's this big, positive, amazing thing all the time. Logan seemed to take offense to my tweet here, calling me a sports medicine doctor, saying that I can't tell the difference between sodium and potassium. Logan, I assure you, I can. I understand the basics of hydration here, and we're gonna talk about it and dive into this and just my opinion, and not my opinion, but the science on what the deal is with this.
He acknowledged that some elements were technically improved compared to Lunchables, but he also pointed out that the product didn't meet USDA school lunch standards, and when marketing targets families, wording matters. This wasn't just YouTube drama anymore. It became a public conversation about labeling, influence, and where business ambition meets ethical responsibility. Then came a moment that shifted everything. Logan later admitted that selling healthy wasn't even the brand's main focus. That raised an obvious question. If health wasn't the core goal, why build the entire marketing strategy around it? That contradiction did more damage than any single tweet. If anyone still thought the healthier angle was rock solid, the next wave of criticism changed that fast. Before Dr. Mike returned with a second analysis, another medical voice joined in. Dr. Brian Sutter responded directly to Logan's comparison chart, which highlighted electrolytes as a major advantage. Dr. Sutter said bluntly that sodium getting rebranded as electrolytes would one day be studied in marketing textbooks.
And then MrBeast, this was something that he posted on his account, and this is really the highlight, the crux of this. More electrolytes, Lunchables, yes, hundreds of millions of units. Their product, 80 less calories, 60% less sugar, more electrolytes. So they're advertising that more electrolytes are good. And that is the fundamental problem here, and the lack of misunderstanding with electrolytes and hydration that has frankly gotten out of control with just this electrolyte hydration beverage market.
That line spread everywhere. In a follow-up video, he explained that while electrolytes are important in certain contexts, like intense athletic performance, the average child eating a prepackaged lunch doesn't need a specialized electrolyte boost. Adding the term to a chart might look impressive, but it doesn't automatically transform a processed snack kit into something nutritionally superior. At this point, the debate had fully moved beyond influencer commentary. It was professional criticism. The narrative wasn't just that Lunchly was slightly overhyped, it was that the health framing felt strategically inflated, and perception shifted almost overnight. Instead of driving curiosity and trial purchases, Lunchly was generating debates. For a brand built on momentum and fan loyalty, that's risky territory. Under normal circumstances, a company might quietly adjust messaging or clarify its claims. But by then, the spotlight was already blazing, and the questions weren't going away. That would have been the logical move. Step back, adjust the messaging, smooth things out. But instead of recalibrating, parts of the trio doubled down. Concerns were brushed off as clickbait. Critics were labeled clout chasers. The tone shifted from explanation to confrontation real quick. To his credit, MrBeast handled it more carefully than the others. He pointed out that Lunchables already sells hundreds of millions of units every year. Families rely on prepackaged lunches whether influencers are involved or not. His argument was simple. If people are already buying in that category, offering a version with slightly improved ingredients at a similar price could still count as progress. He even admitted straight up that fresh, whole foods will always be healthier. That framing felt pragmatic, not defensive. He wasn't pretending Lunchly was a salad bar. He was saying it was a marginal upgrade in an existing lane. That approach landed better than the others. Logan Paul took a very different route. Instead of stepping back from the medical debate, he leaned in. He directly challenged Dr. Brian Sutter online, arguing critics were confusing sodium and potassium and misunderstanding the formulation. At one point, he escalated and called the doctor an idiot. That didn't play well. Dr. Sutter responded calmly and methodically. He pointed out the irony of a professional wrestler debating a sports medicine physician about electrolyte science. Then he followed up with a detailed video explaining electrolyte balance, context, and how marketing terms can oversimplify complex nutrition concepts. Most viewers felt the comparison wasn't close. The optics were rough. A licensed physician breaking down nutrition science versus an influencer defending branding language. It turned into a credibility gap moment, and once that gap opens, it's hard to close. KSI went in another direction entirely. Instead of debating nutrition, he zeroed in on Dan TDM, who originally criticized the launch. What started as one tweet turned into a drawn-out back and forth. KSI questioned Dan's credibility, mocked his past merchandise, and brought up old sponsorships. The irony? Some of the brands mentioned were ones KSI had also worked with before. That didn't go unnoticed. Suddenly, the spotlight wasn't on Lunchly's ingredients anymore. It was creator drama, screenshots, old clips, petty exchanges. The product almost became background noise while personalities clashed front and center. When Kai Cenat announced a McDonald's collaboration shortly after Lunchly's release, KSI and others pointed to it as hypocrisy. If people criticize Lunchly, why celebrate fast food? FaZe Banks even tweeted that the outrage felt selective. But many observers didn't see those situations as equal. A McDonald's collab is openly fast food. There's no health rebrand attached. No comparison charts claiming superiority. Lunchly entered the market explicitly emphasizing better nutrition and improved ingredients. When you frame your product around health upgrades, you invite scrutiny from people who understand health metrics. That distinction kept the debate alive and pushed Dr. Mike to revisit the issue and repeat that marketing language carries responsibility. Then everything escalated. One of Lunchly's headline claims was real cheese, positioned against competitors using cheese product. It was framed as proof of higher quality. That claim became central to the brand's identity. Then customers started posting videos of unopened Lunchly boxes with visible mold on the cheese. The first major viral moment came from Rosanna Pansino. While filming a side-by-side comparison between Lunchly and Lunchables, she opened a sealed pack and found mold inside.
I think how we're doing the first. Is that the non?
These are molded. Okay, so these ones are supposed to be good until December, and we just got them from the store. It says used by December 8th, 2024, and today's date is October 16th. So these are supposed to be good for like another 2 months. This is molded. That's mold.
On camera, unedited. That shifted the conversation instantly. This wasn't about sodium wording anymore. It wasn't about influencer beef, it was about product safety. Rosanna posted on Twitter with a sarcastic caption, "Just opened my first Lunchly ever so much. What flavor of mold did you guys get?" Then she followed up more seriously, "Please be careful everyone. This is not safe and not okay, especially for children." The reaction split down the middle. Rosanna is respected, but she also previously criticized MrBeast. Because of that history, some questioned her motives. Others argued that one moldy pack doesn't prove a systemic issue. One comment summed it up. One bad cheese pack doesn't mean the entire brand is unsafe. But then more creators started testing it live. Spicy Cow opened a pack on stream to check. Not long after, BMC went live and found visible mold inside an unopened kit. Clips spread everywhere. Now it wasn't one isolated post, it was multiple independent instances showing similar problems. Skeptics still claimed it could be staged. Some said reactions looked exaggerated. Others accused creators of chasing views. But as more reports appeared across social media, doubt started fading. Eventually, the situation escalated enough that the US Food and Drug Administration confirmed it had been notified of complaints, including reports of people feeling sick after consuming the product. To be fair, mold in prepackaged food doesn't automatically mean intentional negligence. Supply chains are complex, storage conditions vary. In interviews, MrBeast suggested that distribution factors or shelf conditions could contribute to spoilage. That explanation isn't impossible. The bigger issue was tone. While the controversy was peaking, Logan Paul and KSY addressed it casually on their podcast, laughing about parts of it instead of delivering a clear, serious statement. In one clip, Logan mocked Rosanna by mispronouncing her name while discussing the situation. For a product aimed at families, that tone felt off. Rumors of a recall started flying online. Logan and the FDA later clarified there was no official recall. But by then, perception had shifted. When people start buying your product just to test if the mold rumors are real, that's not hype. That's distrust. And noticeably, unlike Prime or Feastables, there were no big celebratory sales numbers shared publicly. No victory laps. Silence speaks. By most visible measures, Lunchly underperformed. It didn't dominate shelves. It didn't spark viral buying frenzies. It became a case study in how fast influencer momentum can flip. And Lunchly's struggles didn't exist in isolation. Prime, once its biggest differentiator, was reportedly facing revenue declines in 2025, especially in the UK. Legal scrutiny and labeling debates followed it. MrBeast's earlier venture, MrBeast Burger, launched huge but later faced waves of quality complaints and operational issues. There's a pattern. These creators are elite at launching products with explosive hype, but sustaining long-term trust in food and beverage requires consistency, transparency, and restraint. Timing didn't help either. When Lunchly launched, both MrBeast and Logan Paul were already navigating separate controversies tied to past business decisions. public sentiment wasn't at its strongest. Launching a food product in a fragile reputational climate is risky. Launching one aimed at families is even riskier. Food involves health and safety. The margin for error is smaller. The tolerance for jokes is lower. Lunchly didn't collapse because of one tweet, not because of one doctor, not because of one moldy pack. It was the mix. Aggressive health branding, public medical pushback, defensive reactions, quality control questions, a distracted reputation backdrop, and a market already feeling influencer brand fatigue. Influencer products can thrive on attention, but attention cuts both ways. If you want more deep dives into internet business drama like this, make sure you subscribe, share this video, and drop your comments down below. I want to hear what you think, and I'll see you on the next one.